So today I'm going to show you how to put an attachment onto your Microsoft Word so that you can send out mail merges with unique attachments to as many people as you need to. I came across this while I was looking for a shortcut in not having to send hundreds of emails. So the first thing that you need to do is type this address into your browser. So I'm going to leave it up here for just a few moments while I tell you that the first 3 steps in our process only have to be done one time. And if you are putting this on a computer that is owned by an agency that you work for, you do need to be connected to their servers in order for it to work correctly. So I am going to go to what that site should look like. And in the top you can still see the URL if you're still typing. It's pretty long. But it will take you to a OneDrive that has some wonderful tools in it. And what we want to do is we're only interested in the Merge Tools add-in. It's the only one we're interested in. So when we double click it, it downloads into our folder. So it comes in down here. And once it's completely loaded, you can open it up. And the only thing that we're interested in, oh, I closed out of the wrong thing. Hang on a second. Let me get it downloaded again. Oh, I don't need to because my zip file's over here. Okay, so once you open that up, it's not letting me scoot it over. Let me make my recording screen a little bigger. We're only interested in the Word document right here that's called Merge Tools. That's the only thing that we're interested in. And what we're going to do is we're going to add that to the startup ribbon in our Word application. And so the way that we do that is we minimize our browser, and you are going to go to the icon that has your name for this computer. And when you double click on it, that's not what I meant to do. You're going to click into App Data, and then you're going to click into Roaming, and then you're going to click into Microsoft, and then you're going to go all the way down and click into Word, and then you're going to go to Startup. Now, I already have the tools in my Startup menu, but the way that you get them there from that screen earlier is if you have a dual monitor, then you can just click and drag it from one screen to another. If you don't have a dual monitor, if you just go down to this black ribbon, let me make my screen a little bigger. Just a moment. There you go. If you go down here to your black ribbon and you right click on it and just choose Windows side by side, it'll put them in there. Let's ignore the fact that I've already got it in my startup menu for just a moment. And what you're going to do is you're going to click and drag the tools over here into your startup menu and let go. And I'm not going to let go because mine are already in there. But once you click and drag, what your startup menu should look like is this. Okay? Once it's in here, you don't ever have to go through that process again. If I lost you along the way, you can stop at this point and you can rewind a little bit and watch it again. But this is a one-time issue that you take to put something into Word. Now, if your Word application was already open before we started, you'll need to close it out. So save what you were working on and close your window. If you did not have it open, then you can go ahead and open Word. And when you do, you'll notice up here you have something called Merge Tools. Okay? But if your Word application was open while we were adding that to the startup menu, you're not going to see it until you completely close the application and then get back into it. Okay? But this is where the little magic lives, right here. All right? So now we can go and grab a new document, okay, and we will go to mailings, and a lot of this is exactly like a normal mail merge that you would use. So you're going to start the mail merge. The very important, most important part of this is if you are using this add-in, every time you start a mail merge, you have to choose letters, because the way that this genius coder wrote this to work only works with letters. And it's fine because we're going to send these letters as an email later, so we don't have to click email messages, all right? So we're going to click letters, and then we're going to select recipients, okay? In recipients, we have to use an Excel sheet to do that. I've already created one, so I'm going to say use existing and go to my desktop, and I'm going to grab it, and then I'm going to talk to you about it. So I named it PD test, okay? And it's saying, do you want sheet 1? And I left it named sheet 1 because I only made one sheet of things, so I'll say okay. All right, so what I want to do before we move on is I want to go talk about that spreadsheet. And the reason why is because just like a regular mail merge, your mail merge has to be hooked to an Excel spreadsheet. And so when I made this earlier, what I did was I put in the first row of every column has to be any fields that you'll want to call out and use in your letter, because remember, you're typing a form letter because that's the whole point. So I always put the attachment that I want to use right after the name. Okay, so I have gone and grabbed some attachments off of my computer. So I have name, document, which I could have called that attachment, a date, a location, an event, a time, and an email. Excuse me. The reason those are all in here is because I was mimicking a letter that I wrote to TSA judges earlier this year for our division. So a neat trick about putting your document in here is that when you find a document that you want to use, so it could be on your desktop or it could be on your files, if you will, so let's look at this one called Sites for PD. If you will hit the Shift key and right click at the same time, you will get a menu, and one of the choices is Copy as a Path. And so you'll click that, and then you can go back to your Excel spreadsheet and you can paste it in that document column. And that is a really quick way to get the path of the document you're wanting to send quickly into your spreadsheet. Okay, so we'll go back to our Word document right here. Okay, and so then you're going to type the body of your letter. Okay, so we might say good morning, and then I maybe can't remember what I named the name field, which sounds silly, but you can click the insert merge field and it'll come down here. Good morning. We have you scheduled to judge, and then I'm going to put this event on this date at this location. Please arrive by this time to receive instruction. Read over the attached document and let me know if you have any questions. So that's something like what my original letter looked like. And then I came down here and said, you know, we appreciate your time. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so once we have that typed in, just to make sure that our Excel sheet is working correctly with our Word document, we can go in here and we can preview the results. And so there's my first person, Okay, Tanya Norwood, chapter teams on this day at this place arrived by 3. And then I'll just hit this right arrow to get to the next person. And then to the next person. And then to the next person. Once you're done, it goes blank. So none of the things are, all of these are left blank because I didn't have anyone in that next cell. Okay, so we know that everything copied over and went exactly the way that we wanted it to. So we need to save this document to our desktop. And I am going to name it video example. And once I save it to the desktop, I've noticed before that I never have a problem getting the mail merge to go the first time if I go ahead and close out of my document. So once it's done saving, I'm just going to close it. And I'll close my Excel sheet as well. No, I didn't change anything. And now I'm back to my live home screen. So I'm going to go and I'm going to grab the document again. I'm going to open it. And this is not the one, it's just the one, I don't have this one shut. So let me shut that. There it is. I pulled up the other one that I didn't have shut. So that little square that you saw said, do you still want this document linked to this spreadsheet? And the answer is always yes. Okay. So once we get everything typed up the way we want, now we're going to go to our merge tools and we're going to merge with attachments. Now, Doug Robbins is the creator of this, and so he has an email right here that you can reach out to him with any problems you ever have. And he also has this little thing that says that if you donate $25 to him, that this little pop-up will quit appearing. Okay. If I used this all the time, I would probably go ahead and donate to him, but I only use it once a year. It sure is handy though. So all you have to do is X out of that. Okay, so my computer froze a moment ago, so we're going to try this again. So I'm going to open up my Word document, and it is going to ask me if I still want it to be attached to this sheet 1. I'm going to say yes. And then I'm going to go up here to Merge Tools, and I'm going to click Merge with Attachments. And again, I'm going to X out of that screen. And here we go. Then we are going to get this bubble. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Okay. And what we have to do is we have to select the merge field that contain the path and the file name of the attachment that we want. So I called it document. Sometimes I call it attachment. The nice thing is you can send out more than one attachment, so you could call it attachment 1, attachment 2 for those purposes if you need to. So you highlight the document and you add it so it moves over to this column instead of staying in this column. And then pull from this down menu and we're going to merge it to an email message. And then we have to select the field containing the email. So I named that one email. If you wanted to carbon copy or blind carbon copy, you could have those as separate fields on your spreadsheet. And then put a subject line in. If you don't, it'll remind you to. And I'm just going to put test in this one. And then we're going to hit continue. And then it comes and it says, do you want to do all of them? If I have 4 in there. Or do you go from 1 to 4 if I just wanted to send 1? But typically I leave it on all and I select OK. And then it showed them going through super fast. And I usually get this little box right here, but not every time. And I think that it is just an error within the code somewhere. And what I've noticed is it does not affect whether or not the messages get sent. So I just say, OK. So I wanted to come up to the office since I am not connected by VPN and show you proof that it worked. So if you open up your Outbox or open up your Outlook, and then you come over and you click on your Outbox option. Those are the 4 people that I put in my spreadsheet, and it says that they are waiting to be sent in my Outbox. And normally your ribbon up here is on home, so in order to send those, you click send receive, and then you would click send receive all folders. So if you're not connected to the network, you can go ahead and do the whole process. It's just that when you tell it to merge the email, it'll stay in your Outbox until you're connected to your agency's computer's system. I also had mentioned tagging read receipts, and some of you might not know how to do that. So if you don't, if you go up to File and you come down to Options, you're going to go to the Mail, and if you scroll down, you'll come to a part that says Tracking. So I would turn on the read receipt confirming that the recipient viewed the message, okay? And you can turn on the delivery receipt, but depending, I mean, if you're sending out hundreds of emails, you might not want hundreds of receipts back saying, yes, it got delivered. I assume that it goes through unless it gets kicked back to me with a bad email address. But I do click read receipt confirming the recipient viewed the message so that I can get a message back that says, yes, Tanya Norwood read your message. And then I save those in a folder just for future use if needed. And then you can click OK, and then the read receipt will be set up until you turn it off. So you want to do this before you do the mail merge with attachments. And then when you're done with the mail merge with attachments and you get everything sent off, I would come back in and turn it off, because I don't want a read receipt for every email I send. I'm only really wanting one to confirm that they got their attachment. So that is the end of it. Hopefully this will help save you time and you've learned a few tips and tricks that you didn't know before. Thanks for watching.